Let's forget all the AI hype for just a minute. Seriously, today we're not doing a tech demo. We are going to get really practical and break down the hard economics of your field operations. We're going to show you why that simple pen and paper you've got in your truck, well, it just might be the most expensive tool you own. Let's dive in. So, I want to start with a really simple question. What's the real cost of one paper form? You're probably thinking, what, a few cents for the paper? But that's not the whole story. Not even close. When you follow that single piece of paper through its entire life, from the field to the office, the actual cost is frankly staggering. Let's do the math on just one very common inspection. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. It's not just the time somebody spends writing on a clipboard. Let's say your field supervisor takes about 12 minutes on site. Fine. But then it goes back to the office where an admin spends another 8 minutes just retyping that exact same information into a computer. Then a manager takes another 5 minutes to review it. And then, and you know this happens, another 10 minutes get completely burned just chasing down one missing signature or one blurry photo. So that's 35 minutes of labor for one single form. Now, let's scale that up, because you're not just doing this once. Imagine you've got 40 active sites, and each of them is doing about 15 of these inspections a week, 50 weeks a year. All of a sudden, that little 35-minute task balloons into 17,500 hours of labor annually. That's 17,500 hours of your team's valuable time spent just pushing paper around. And what does that time cost? Let's be really conservative here. We'll use a burdened labor rate of just $60 an hour. Now, for many of you listening, you know this number is probably way higher when you factor in all your overhead. But even at this super conservative rate, you get this: over $1 million. That's the annual cost of the administrative drag from a single type of paper inspection. A 7-figure problem hiding in plain sight, disguised as just the way we've always done things. And that really brings us to this quote: pen and paper aren't nostalgic. They're expensive. We are not talking about tradition here. We are talking about a major, measurable financial liability that is hammering your bottom line every single day. But here's the thing. That $1 million form, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The real problem isn't just one workflow. It's the broken structure of all of your manual workflows. Just think about your own operations for a second. You're not just doing that one inspection. You've got daily safety reports, stormwater inspections, equipment checklists, pre-task plans, incident investigations. I mean, the list just goes on, right? And every single one of these carries its own hidden time cost, its own little 35-minute cycle of inefficiency. So what happens when you add it all up? If that first workflow cost you $1 million and you have just 4 or 5 other similar recurring forms across your sites, you're now looking at over $5 million a year. And this isn't productive work. It's not building anything. It's not making anyone safer. It's just pure, unadulterated operational friction. We've got to give this thing a name. We call it the administrative tax. It's this quiet, distributed cost that just hides inside your payroll and overhead. It never shows up as a line item on a budget, but trust me, it is actively and silently draining your profit margin day in and day out. So, how do we fight this tax? Well, the answer isn't just about taking your paper forms and turning them into digital PDFs. That's just paving the old cow path. The real change comes when you fundamentally alter the economics by eliminating entire layers of that non-productive work. And that's exactly what AI-native tools are designed to do. They don't just make the data entry part a little faster, they make it completely unnecessary. They collapse the entire process, getting rid of the need for retyping information, for rewriting messy notes, and for manually trying to pull reports together. Okay, so that all sounds good in theory, but let's break down exactly how this works. Let's look at a few specific AI capabilities that can structurally change the way work gets done out in the field. First up, something called guided completion. Now, the best way to think about this is like TurboTax, but for your field inspections. So instead of a static 50-question form, the AI actually guides the user. It asks the right follow-up questions based on their previous answers. And the result? You get 100% complete, accurate data the first time, every time. No more missed fields, no more half-filled-out forms, and absolutely no more chasing people down for missing info. Next, AI-generated narratives. You've all seen this, right? A manager gets a bunch of shorthand notes from the field and has to spend 20 minutes trying to clean them up into a professional, compliant report. With AI, the system takes all that structured data from the guided workflow we just talked about and instantly generates a clean, polished narrative. Just like that. That's another chunk of the administrative tax completely gone and weeks of managerial time reclaimed every year. Oh man, this one is a total game changer. Your teams are out there taking thousands of photos. Who actually has time to look at them all? Nobody. Well, with computer vision, the AI does that first pass for you. It can automatically verify PPE compliance. It can flag potential issues like damaged equipment, and it can even reject a photo if it's too blurry or just irrelevant. This doesn't just save time, it turns your photos into a proactive risk management tool. We've seen this drop photo review time by up to 90%. Now let's talk about making decisions. The old way is, you have a question, you've asked an analyst, and you wait, maybe days, for them to pull data from a dozen different spreadsheets. The new way? You ask an AI agent a question in plain English, like, hey, which of my sites have had repeat safety issues this month? And you get an answer instantly. That's not just convenience, that's what we call decision velocity. It's the ability to solve problems before they spiral into catastrophes. And this brings us to what might be the most powerful capability of all: anomaly detection. See, no human being can possibly scan 10,000 PDF inspection reports and find a subtle, dangerous pattern. It's impossible. But an AI can. It can spot if one site is suddenly completing its inspection suspiciously fast, or if a certain type of near miss is starting to trend upwards across the company. These are the kinds of early warnings that prevent six-figure incidents. So let's bring all of this together. The real resistance to changing this stuff isn't because pen and paper doesn't work. I mean, it does, technically. The information eventually gets where it needs to go. But we really need to start challenging that whole standard of good enough, because good enough is costing you millions. We have to move from a standard that is merely functional to one that is truly profitable. Look, a functional process just gets the job done, eventually. But a profitable process is designed from the ground up to be efficient. It's designed to turn raw data into immediate intelligence and to actively protect and even grow your company's margin. Which leaves us with one final question for you to think about. After seeing how a single form can secretly cost over $1 million and how that cost multiplies across your entire operation, the question really isn't whether this technology works. The real question is this: how much of your margin are you leaving on the table right now by tolerating your manual workflows?